All right, so let's go grab a seat at the table. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a very unique self-portrait.
A self-portrait complete with bright eyes and beautiful smiles. That's what you see as you look around this table of children, but there is something you don't see.
Who here has diabetes?
They all do, even their art teacher, Zoe Stevens.
Trying to explain diabetes to, kids it's tough. I mean, I have it, and I still don't fully understand it.
Ironically, while it's Zoe who teaches them about art,
that's why it's art. You get to be creative and do your own thing.
It's the kids who have something to teach as well.
I usually learn more from kids than I could ever, show them or teach them anything.
Brooklyn Hamilton is like other 8-year-olds. She's a big fan of Hannah Montana. How big? And even though she acts like every other child her age, Brooklyn faces challenges most children never have to consider. And her parents face real fears.
My biggest fear is her passing out and going into a coma.
And those sleepless nights, checking her blood sugar levels, knowing that their baby, on any night, could die in her sleep if they don't. And though Brooklyn is amazingly positive, even she has her moments.
She'll just start crying sometimes and just say, I hate diabetes, I wish I didn't have it, which that kills me, breaks my heart.
It's understandable for her and others with type 1 diabetes. See, most of us are able to process food, creating the right blood sugar levels to keep us healthy. But for those living with juvenile diabetes, their bodies can't produce insulin, so they have to inject it. A difficult but accepted routine as they get older, but for the young ones...
Here you go, 1, 2, 3, pinch. Ah! That's okay.
Still, as difficult as it is...
I was diagnosed in 1961.
We've seen major improvement since that year that family honoree Chris Steele was told what to expect.
And he also said, you're going to die before you're 50. You're going to be on dialysis before you die. I had no idea what that was. And you're going to be blind before you die.
That's how it was, or at least how it was perceived.
That was just life with diabetes in the 60s. Boiling syringes, boiling needles. Everything was awkward, but just part of life for me. I can just barely remember what it was like not to be diabetic.
Still, he was active in sports, dealing with the crude medicine of the time, and dealing with something else, prejudice.
I can remember one girlfriend in high school whose parents said, we don't want you dating him because he's diabetic and you might get serious about him. He has a genetic defect.
It's a big part of why he is a tireless volunteer today, celebrating 23 years of marriage to his wife Lorraine and 21 years of involvement with JDRF. Professional involvement for Lorraine for 14 of those years, once named JDRF National Staff Member of the Year, the same year she was promoted to National Field Manager.
JDRF is an incredible organization because it funds the best research in the world.
Today, she serves as a National Volunteer Co-Chair of the JDRF Promise to Remember Me campaign, as well as a member of the JDRF National Government Relations Committee, among other roles. Chris, a published author and professor, coordinates the JDRF Family Day with the Padres.
I think I'm going to be cured one day, and that hope is what keeps me going with JDRF.
It keeps him going despite setbacks through the years, a partial amputation of his foot, gastrophoresis, and kidney failure with a transplant expected later this year.
Each day is a gift, and you've got to be grateful for each day, and that's truly Chris's philosophy and our philosophy.
A philosophy that works for this amazing couple, despite that decades-old prediction of death before age 50.
And we celebrated a few years ago that I had reached 50 and the doctor was no longer around.
We proved the doctors wrong.
The picture is changing.
Dolphin, whale, swordfish.
JDRF is instrumental in that change, making critical research possible, providing more than $137 million to diabetes research in 2007 and more than $1.16 billion since it was founded. But for these kids, it's still a challenge. testing between brushstrokes and between meals,
I usually test 8 to 10 times a day.
pricking their fingers, injecting or pumping insulin into their little bodies. A life-saving commitment and never a day off.
It sucks.
It does, for all of them. But Bear is part of a group who is teaming up to help JDRF find a cure. Diabetes affects a disproportionate number of Native Americans.
It's huge. The number is huge. It's our #1 killer, besides heart disease right now, for Native Americans.
It's why Charles Kuro, or Beaver, got involved after his grandson Bear was diagnosed.
He fought it, he rebelled, he was angry, he just didn't understand why he had to be different. And that was really hard as a grandfather to watch when there was nothing I could do.
That was until he asked the Borona Band of Mission Indians and the Viejas and Siquan Band of Kumeyaay Indians to join the JDRF team.
And if you live on any reservation, you've either been impacted by it or know someone who has.
You don't have to look far to find diabetes among Native Americans, not just here, but nationwide.
I have diabetes, and I've had family members unfortunately pass on.
He lost his mother to diabetes, as did Chairman Tucker, his mom, way too young.
49 years old when she passed away. It was pretty sad.
The whole situation is sad. The individual impact, the impact on the whole Native American community. But together, they are helping JDRF reach their goal.
We need to find a cure.
We are really interested in working with JDRF and finding a cure for this.
That's definitely the goal for everyone, is to find a cure. Right?
I'm done.
And while art class is wrapping up for our kids, the efforts to help them live the rest of their lives without diabetes, that battle wages on. Thanks to the Viejas, Borona, and Siquan Band of Indians, thanks to volunteers like Chris and Lorraine Steele, and thanks to JDRF, we will fight hard to find that cure and to find it quickly. It's our commitment to our kids.